Hey everyone, Andrea here. Welcome to Karchermakes. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you. Normally I reserve Wednesdays for Whip Wednesday. I'm still working on Jethro. It is not done. I will not meet my goal, my very loose goal of finishing it before Thanksgiving, which by the way is tomorrow. So I want to go through this giant bin of yarn here, which the lid does not even fit on anymore. I want to go through this bin of yarn and pull out all of my Christmas themed skeins. It can be obviously Christmas, red, green, a Christmas name, or it could just be anything that evokes Christmas to me. Doesn't necessarily have to be red and green. It doesn't have to have a Christmas name. But if I look at the skein and I'm like, I'm getting Christmas vibes from this, it totally counts. So I was inspired by Ange of the Yarn and Yarns podcast, and what she did was she knit Christmas socks through the year, and I think that's such a good idea. I do have some Christmas socks in my drawer, but I want more, and I know I already have quite a few Christmas skeins in here. I just need to find them, get them out, and get ready for lots of Christmas sock knitting. So like I mentioned, tomorrow here in the States is Thanksgiving, and if you celebrate, I hope you have a really good one. I'm hosting dinner for, I don't even know how many people, 12, 14, 15, somewhere around there, and I have no socks on the needles. I'm going to need to cast one of these on so that I can get through all of the pressure of preparing the meal and then all the fun after the meal. I can work on my socks and get a jump start on some Christmas knitting. So here's the bin. This is just one of those cheap plastic bins from whatever big box store I happen to get this from. And I have been collecting this yarn for quite a while. There's probably going to be several dyers in here that no longer dye. I try not to be precious about the yarn, at least on purpose. I know I get precious about some skeins, but for the most part, if I have the yarn, I want to knit it up. And I know that I have a lot that's been in this bin for a while, and it's been kind of out of sight, out of mind. But we're going to fix that today and go through this bin. We're going to find all of the Christmas vibe yarn, and then that will set me up for lots of sock making. Let's see what this bin has to offer us. So number one, the lid. The lid doesn't even fit. There's so many in here, so much. And right on the top, you guys, if you watched my last episode, you've already seen this. This was my purchase from Frederick Fiber Fest. It is the Sheepy Shired hand-dyed happiness, and the colorway is Santa Claus Lane, and it's this just red and green and white speckle yarn with lots of pretty stellina, and I couldn't pass this up, and this might be the first cast on. I don't know yet. So next up, this one is from Polka Dot Creek, and I've had this one in my stash for probably 2 years now. And this is a sock set that came with 2 minis, which is fun for just having more options for heels, toes, cuffs, maybe a little bit of color work. And this one is called Rudolph, which I think is a really perfect name for this color. So there is that one. It kind of makes me sad. I love Polka Dot Creek yarn. They do also a lot of self-striping that is really pretty, and I kind of miss buying from them. I stopped buying from them when all of this tariff mess started happening. Not just from them. I stopped buying internationally from all companies when the whole tariff thing started happening. So I do really miss their yarn, and I follow them on social media, and they always have such pretty colors coming out, but y'all, I can't pay another 40% on top of whatever the percentage is now. I can't even keep up with what the percentages are, number one. But number two, I don't want to have to pay that extra money to get it. So luckily I have some in my stash here that I can use. So this one is just one that I dyed years ago. It's just this really pretty kind of Kelly green color. And I may keep this out just for the fact that it would make really good heels, toes, and cuffs for some Christmas socks. And of course, because it's my own hand dyed, it's not labeled, and I'm pretty sure this is a 75-25 sock base that I used to carry. So a lot of these aren't Christmas related at all, and I'm just going to apologize in advance for the noise of the bags. But this is just a few skeins of Nitty and color. They do not dye anymore, which makes me incredibly sad. I love their colors so much. And luckily I have a lot in my stash still. So those aren't really Christmas colors, so I'm going to put this one to the side. So this is a good example of what I mean by it's not a Christmas yarn, but it's giving Christmas vibes. This one from Frogget Yarns. It's on their Merino Fingering 75-25 base, and it's called Beach Chairs. But look at these colors. They're these multicolored speckles, and quite a few of them, quite a bit is green. So I think this would make for some good Christmas socks. What do you guys think? Beach chairs or Christmas? I'll put this one in the maybe pile. And speaking of Frogget, this is another one that kind of goes into that same case. So this was their fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for a cure. And again, this is 75-25, but it's this like pinky red with some speckles. And again, it's giving Christmas vibes. Put these two together, I don't know. That speaks to me. It's screaming Christmas. Here's another from Polka Dot Creek. And this one was called Pink Miss. And this is a half skein, so 50 grams, 75-25 again. And came with the black coffee mini skein. And I can get, I've mentioned this before several times, but I can get a full pair of socks out of a 50-gram skein if it has a 20-gram mini with it that I can use for heels, toes, and the cuffs. And I wear a size US 7 women's shoe, so if you're around that size, please know you can get a half skein and still make a full pair of socks. Here's one that is caked up, and I know for a fact that this is Teeny Button Studio. What I don't know is what this colorway is called. This was definitely an elf themed colorway, but I don't recall the name of it. And it's just these pinks, reds, little tiny speckles of gray, and then green, which is just quintessential Christmas. Next up is some deep stash. And I'm actually gonna take these out of the bag. Who remembers Jinx Yarns? Who remembers? They were one of the first YouTube channels related to knitting and yarn that I followed. And I'm going back to 2015, 2016 probably. And their yarn was difficult to get. It would sell out so fast. But this is on a sparkle base. So 75-25 Stellina, just like the Sheepyshire yarn. And the colorway is called Santa's Workshop. And it's reds and greens, but also these blue tones, a little bit of goldy yellow. And I just think this is so pretty and special because, again, Jinx isn't dyeing yarn anymore, sadly. And here is some vintage Fiber Nymph dye works. You can tell by the label. Lisa does still dye, and I've recently gotten some of her yarn as well. But I believe I got this from, I want to say I got this from a D-stash from someone, and the colorway is called Holidays, and it's a self-striping 80/20 merino nylon. It's her bounce base. But it's self-striping, it's speckles, it's greens, it's pinks, it's reds. And I love pink and red together. I don't know, I just saw something not too long ago where somebody was hating on pink and red together. I love it. I love anything pink. Pink in any color is a winner in my book. And then lastly, out of that bag, this one is White Birch Fiber Arts. I'm pretty sure they still exist, but I feel like they may have gotten bought out by another dyer, another company. But this one happens to be 80/20 superwash merino nylon, and the colorway is Santa Baby. And this one is also, I'm 98% sure this is self-striping, but it's greens, whites, and then that pop of red. Okay, this one is not Christmas vibes. This is fall vibes. I needed to dig this out a couple months ago. This is also Frogget Yarns, and the colorway is Sweater Weather. This one's gonna go in a different pile. So this is another one where it's a skein of yarn. This was a full skein that came with a Rising Tide Fiber Company Advent, and I'm pretty sure it was last year's Advent, if I'm thinking correctly about it, which was all candy cane, not candy cane, Candyland themed. And this one is just rainbow on the white base, subtle speckles. Melissa is a master of speckles. So this one's called Rainbow Trail, but I'm gonna keep this out. I'm not gonna put this in with the Christmas yarns because, like, I love a rainbow and this is going to have different plans. And then speaking of Rising Tide, this was another one that came from an Advent. This was the full skein. And this is called Making Merry, and it's from the 2021 Advent. But it's really pretty. It's not giving me Christmas vibes, but it is a very pretty yarn. And it'll be something someday. These are just some more yarns, not Christmas related, but this one is Cat Sandwich, and they actually still dye occasionally. Every once in a while I'll run across on social media where they're posting updates. But there is this. I'm pretty sure this came with an Advent that I got probably 5 years ago from them. It's pretty, but not Christmas. And then kind of similar to this one, this was from the 2020 Advent. It's called Holiday Splendor, also from Rising Tide Fiber Company. And again, it's not giving me Christmas, but this rainbow, y'all. Like this rainbow with these speckles. Maybe that becomes like a Musselburgh hat. I don't even know. But look at those together. Amazing. And this is a sock set from Rising Tide. I feel like I bought this as is. I don't think this came with an Advent, but it's a sock set, Talbot fingering 75/25, and the colorway is funny. It's called Holiday Fake Dating. So this one has like some reds and greens, some like tan kind of cocoa colors with this gold mini. Keeping this one out for some Christmas socks. More not Christmas. Can you see a color theme here? I love color. I love a rainbow. So here's another super bright one that I think will work for Christmas socks, and it's from Bumblebee Acres Farm, and this is their Coquette sock, which is 75 Corriedale, 25% nylon, and the colorway is called Merry and Bright, and this was also a full skein from an advent. Here's another one from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and this is the more recent label for Lisa's yarn, and this one is also on the bounce base, and this was a full skein that came with another advent, and the colorway is called Winter Comforts, and it's a 5-stripe repeat, and it's this kind of burgundy gold, looks like lavender, like a really pale lavender and a gray, really pretty. So this one will go in the pile. So I do have a lot of Desert Vista Dye Works in my stash. I did the sock club a few years ago, 2022 I think maybe. So I do have a lot of their yarn, and sadly they are also no longer dyeing, but they have really pretty self-striping yarns, and I think I picked up some of these from a D-stash as well. So this one I recently showed also on my Frederick Fiber Fest yarn haul. Again, Rising Tide Fiber Companies. The colorway is called Main Character. And again, this is one that's not overtly Christmas, but gives me Christmas vibes with the pink and the green speckles. So neither of these are really Christmas, but this one I'm pretty sure is 25 stripes, somewhere around there. A lot of stripes, and this is from Kirby Werby Yarns. They do amazing self-striping yarn. It's on the Old Faithful base, which is a 75-25, and the colorway is called Hills to the Yes. And then kind of similarly with this one, same base, same everything, but it's the Rose Apothecary remix. So I had the Rose Apothecary. It was 20 couple stripes. It was all Schitt's Creek themed, and each stripe was a quote from the show, and this was their version of that just mixed up. So same colors, different order. And I think this could also work for Christmas, even though again it's not overtly Christmas, but these sort of multiple stripe repeats kind of gives me like Advent skein vibe. So here's where we ended up after digging through this giant bin of yarn. I ended up with 15, I believe, skeins that could definitely be used for some Christmas themed socks that I just want to knit throughout the rest of this year and then next year. If you're interested in doing a sock knit along, let me know. Maybe that's something we can organize and have some prizes. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here and keeping me company as I stash dove through this giant bin of yarn. I think this is going to be what I cast on first. Santa Claus Lane from the Sheepy Shire. So I'm going to go cake this up. Like I mentioned, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I need to go down and do some food prep. I need to bake a pie. I need to bake cookies and start thinking about what my game plan is going to be for all of this food that I have to make tomorrow. But luckily, we'll have some yarn to keep me company. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Happy making!